come up, a little bit more improv. And standing by. Concert F, mellows, you're on your G, got it? Right. Concert F, mellows on your G, mezzo forte are out, play. Guys, start the note right on the downbeat. Now go to a ha attack. Don't disturb the embouchure, set it. Now ha's on F, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Open up. More patience between the notes, folks. 1, 2, low B flat, pause, ready, go. Let's do a minor side. How's it going? Have we been told you guys can ask questions yet, or what?
Just about the telephone.
Oh.
Ashley says hi, Dad.
Hi, Ashley.
And she sent you a heart.
Oh. Don't keep looking at me. Look at them. They're the ones that make all the
I really
magic.
dig the focus, you guys. I like it when you guys are calm and executing at a high level. That's the best version of you. We're gonna do 8 on 4 off. Odds are gonna go up to F sharp. Remember the hand signals. I'll give you this is when we go, and then this is switch. Then this is back to F. This is the last time before the tap. Okay, mezzo forte is your volume. Here we go.
Set it up. Set.
members in the horn line this season?
So this season we've got 76 members in the horn line, and then we've got 4 drum majors.
You guys,
so about
lots
80.
and lots of good
we
stuff. I know
marched
there's some
24
people doing
trumpets,
some
16 mellophones,
mental push-ups right
24
now,
euphoniums,
but
and 12
as a
contras
whole,
or
the
tubas.
quality of sound,
We're also doing a
immediacy
40
of
trumpet
sound is
feature this
very
year,
good
so all the
towards the
mellophones
center
are
of the
playing
circle.
trumpet.
And last night upstairs,
How
that's
long
the
will
one
it be
thing I
at
want you guys to
Clovis?
try to bridge.
We're going to be closed today and tomorrow, leaving after the show tomorrow night.
Get what you sound like here.
Adriel
to be what the
Rodriguez
people
says,
in
"What's
the
up,
box
John?"
hear.
What's up,
Okay,
Adriel?
so it's all about projection
You arc it up.
and using the right muscle. Okay?
How many? So did you say how many total members in the entire drum corps? Or don't?
The entire drum corps is 154. We do march the full 154. Yeah, so full complement. The last exercise we did at the end, we did a double tonguing kind of tag. We alternate between the front of the tongue and the back of the tongue. The beginning of our show has a big double tonguing feature, so we work that starting at the beginning of the warm-up. This is an interval control exercise. Trumpet right now. So mellophone section's warming up on going through 1. Chasen, we're going down to 2 and 3, right? Open up the volume a little bit. They seem a little hesitant. What else?
Alex Blue wants to know, is that a new shirt? He likes it.
No, Alex, this is an old shirt. Maybe I don't break it out enough.
Why aren't you ever at the Winston-Salem North warm-up at Night Beat?
I usually take a little bit of a break after the Murfreesboro show and come back into Allentown. So I typically miss that stretch of tour. Sorry.
There's simple mistakes that are
What
happening.
corrections do you attack first,
The
and
overall quality is really
what do you
good.
do later?
You
Like,
kinda-
what
I think
corrections do you
guys
attack
need to
first
quiet
and
your
later
minds for a
down
little
the?
bit. So just
Early on, you got to just the basic fundamental stuff, the techniques. You know, are they using their arrow correctly? Are they getting their embouchures set? Are we getting the horn to the face in time? You know, really, really basic stuff. And then after that, you get to the deeper levels. Yep, I'll do it.
open up your eyes, get your horns, go standing by.
Anything else? One more?
We're going to go up to forte.
Not
We're
yet.
going to do number 1,
More
and
questions.
then we will do soft BWS with John. But I want the exercise to be at forte. The goal is you guys got to get used to having that relaxed, calm body feel, but making incredibly big and sounds that project long distance, right? So now we're going to add a substantial amount more volume, a little bit more energy with the same calmness in our bodies. Cool?
Get him up.
The air does the work. The breathing is what makes it happen.
Stop.
Singing.
there. Can we feel ourselves, the tension built in, start to drift up in the volume? Stay relaxed as we get higher on the register. Good. Check it out, heads down. Anything on the exercise?
You guys, in number one, when you have, there's a point where you re-articulate, that articulation can be you can say like, yes, I understand what you're saying. Keep your heads down.
We have more questions for you.
Cool, so let's answer some questions, then we'll go watch them breathing.
All right, cool. So how often do you use the tone producing feature on the Dr. Beat, and how long have you been using it to tune during rehearsals?
Cool, so what we've got is we've got 4 of these Roland cubes, and we've been doing this I think 4 years now, and we have it hooked up to right now the Dr. Beat, but we also use tonal energy when we want to get in there and start to tune chords and get different temperaments and show them the different ways of sitting within all the harmonics that they play in within the show. We basically do it starting right at the beginning of the season, and we set their marks at the beginning. So basically on all system blue horns, there's a series of marks, notches, whatever you may want to call them, that are on the tuning slide. Hey Alex, can you grab me a trumpet really quick? Thank you, sir. And what that does is based on the temperature, we can kind of guesstimate where the horn is supposed to be. So if it's hotter, we can tell the trumpets to go to like 10. If it's colder, we can tell the trumpets to go to 2. That way they're in the general vicinity. And then we put on the drone, and then they kind of adjust themselves to that temperature
So
and
for
move their mark a little bit. Alex, can you give me a trumpet, please?
So for instance today,
I need a trumpet.
I
don't need a trumpet player.
I got one of those.
Hi. Since you're here, everybody say hi to Alan Hester.
Hello. Hey Alan.
How are y'all?
Oh, okay.
I gotta warm up anyway.
That's Alan. If you watch our show this year and you see a flugelhorn solo at the end, that's Alan. If you watch last year's show, the natural horn solo, drum solo, that was Alan. So I don't know if we can see on here, but we've got little graduated tuning marks right here. And so basically when it's hot out, we can tell the trumpets go to 9, and they'll go to the 9th mark. When it's cold out, go to 2, and they'll go to the 2nd mark. So it makes it really easy to guesstimate. Not every person plays the same way. So when the trumpets are at 8, some of them might be at 9, some of them might be at 7, some of them might be at cover 6 and like 6.5 or cover 9. And we give them those adjustments throughout the season. We go down and do individual tunings and find out who has the tendency to play sharp, who has the tendency to play flat. And we always have the drone to be able to make special adjustments too based on that.
Today is pretty warm.
Yeah, today
right?
is hot. It's 90 degrees right now. It's actually mild compared to where we've been. It's been 100, 103 the last couple of days.
And are you logging all that information?
Yeah, so we have databases going back decades, and these are brand new horns this year, so every year that we get new instruments, we have to kind of start over from scratch, but we can kind of use last year's data to help us. But we log in every day, we get a series of marks, sometimes 2 or 3 marks a day, and we'll mark in there loud. Couldn't hear the tubas. Mellophones were really strong, so we can kind of understand, because we don't just tune to everybody be straight up in tune. We want to hear the octaves so that every voice really speaks within the tuning.
And then what happens if, like, for instance, say they were warming up for a performance tonight, but then that performance was in a stadium. Is there a shift that happens?
Yeah, so one of the great things about the mark system, can we turn around so you're watching them breathe when they talk? Right now they're doing breathing gym with Ben Vasco. You can go ahead and sit down. We do breathing gym every day. But the great thing about having Ben Vasco do this, for a long time Kevin Ronan was here and he did the breathing. Ben Vasco, both Kevin and Ben were students of Sam Plafian, who is one of the co-creators of the breathing gym with Patrick Sheridan. Unfortunately, we lost Sam this year, but it's awesome. Every day we do the breathing stuff. It helps us tremendously. So one of the great things about the mark system is, say we're warming up outside in San Antonio and it's 108 degrees, and so we have to be all the way out here with our tuning slides. But then we're going to go right into the dome where it's 74. we have marks for 74 degrees that we know are going to sound great and they're going to work. And then through the Dome series, through San Antonio, Atlanta, the different domes, we get ready for Indianapolis. So we have like the perfect marks for that. And it makes it very easy to be able to go into different climates and be able to set the horns right away.
Very cool. What's your favorite chord for the horn line to play? Do you have a favorite chord?
My favorite chord? Oh my goodness. The one that's most in tune.
I thought you were going to say that.
It all depends. I love nines. So when Dave Glide and I write the book, there's typically some good 9 chords in there. Different, like the end of the ballad this year is a B major chord, and it rings, and it's awesome. Like the middle of the ballad's a G5 major chord, the end of the ballad is a B major chord, and the members are just really kind of owning everything, and they sound great. Yeah, but I like a 9. I like a good 9 chord.
Cool. And then you may have answered this already, but maybe a little more detail. Josh Walker wants to know, how much do you focus on tuning to just intonation for chords versus pure temperament?
We will tune straight up and down, but then, like I kind of said earlier, we really listen to the octaves and how things are ringing within each other. As everybody knows, if you tune straight up and down and you get it to where everything is exactly the same, there's not going to be a ring to it. It's going to be kind of stale. What we really listen for is we get it close, and then we start to spread the octaves a little bit so things really start to resonate and sound. Yeah.
Awesome.
We use the ears a lot. You know, the drone is there for them, but we want them to really have, the bigger the ears, the better they're going to play. Let's see, what else? What are we doing here right now? So they're using right now they're kind of using this as resistance. So that kind of like when you breathe in, a lot of times it's not always the easiest thing to do. And so a lot of the breathing exercises that Sam and Pat created, they mimic different things that we'll do within our performances. And what we do is we train here slowly, and we do everything in very kind of controlled situations, so that when their bodies are under high duress and with a lot of tension built in them, their body knows what to do because it's done it a million times in rehearsals all the time. So right there you might have seen him throw a nice little airplane. We want to get like the smoothest air possible. Sometimes you'll shoot a bow and arrow to get a different kind of articulation. Sometimes we'll throw darts to get a different kind of articulation. Just different ways of, everybody thinks differently, you know, and so a lot of times visualization is a great way for someone to understand the type of air they need to use to get a certain articulation to happen.
We have another question from Chris Gonzalez.
Hi,
With
Chris.
all of the, he says, hi, Chris. With all of the traveling Blue Devils, what is your favorite venue to have the horn line play at?
Favorite venue? Well, I would say that from a stadium perspective, I love Stanford. Stanford is a great venue to listen to drum corps in. I always look forward to that one every year. You know, Indianapolis, we're getting used to it. Yeah, it's inside. But if you get the right place, and in most every place in there, you can hear something really well. But Indianapolis, if you find the right place, things sound super crystal clear in there. But I'd say from a stadium perspective, I love Stanford. Warm-ups. I do a lot of times scouting warm-up zones. Because if you get a good wall, you know, and you're on cement, and you can find like the right zone that's going to echo everything and create that reverb, it really kind of makes, the horn line goes like this. They go from this to, ooh. You know, you can kind of feel that vibe change.
We get a lot of questions about the mouthpieces.
Uh-huh.
Not that one.
No.
About how they make it easier for the performer to play the instrument.
So basically, everybody in the horn line plays on matched mouthpieces, except for our lead trumpet players. And you know, their lead trumpet players, they've developed a skill, and we want them to feel comfortable on that skill because we ask a lot out of them in the high registers. So they play on their own mouthpiece that I okay. Everybody else is on System Blue mouthpieces, and the System Blue mouthpieces were designed in conjunction with the horn. So the weight of the mouthpiece helps helps counterweight the weight of the instrument, so everything feels very relaxed and balanced when you're holding the instrument. The bore of the mouthpiece is also based on how we do the lead pipe, so that as the air goes through the mouthpiece and into the lead pipe, it's kind of a continuous airstream doing what we want it to do to spin through the rest of the horn. So it's all thought of really in conjunction to go with each other. Everything's cohesive. Yeah, and then we think about when we design the mouthpieces, these are going to be played in stadiums. So we want to make sure that the articulation upstairs is nice and crisp. So we think about that with the bite. We want to make sure that as they're marching around the field, if they hit a bump or something, the mouthpiece isn't just going to give on them. So within the cup, we design the cup to kind of be a little bit more forgiving. So there are definitely thoughts that go into the mouthpieces because this is a marching activity.
Do the mouthpieces adjust according to temperature? Because metal does that, right?
It'll just be, they don't adjust based on temperature. It'll be the sensation of which the lips and the mouthpiece feel. They obviously will get colder and hotter based on the temperature, but that doesn't really kind of play into everything. It's the horn.
Okay. So James Densley wants to know, what concepts or exercises do you have the Blue Devils horn line do that would work really well in a high school marching band mixed with woodwinds and in a brass setting?
Yeah. If you're doing a high school woodwinds and brass, focus on what each group needs. So each group is going to need tone production, so do long tones, do Remingtons, do your intervallic exercises. Then brass players are going to need simple slurs to kind of get that fundamental going, and woodwinds are going to need fingers. So do like an exercise that the brass are playing, ee-ah, ee-ah, while the woodwinds are playing da 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 dee da 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 do you you So you're kind of, the exercises collide and they go together, but they're working the brass fundamental of flexibility and the woodwind fundamental of finger dexterity, because that's kind of what each group will do. Every exercise we do focuses on that. We focus on tone production with long tones, intervallic control with our ascending descending exercise, articulation, flexibility, range development, volume development. So the same fundamentals are going to be used here that I'll use at any high school. It's just the level in which you do them. Oh, we're getting together here. So basically what they're doing now is they're going to kind of wind pattern a part of the show. Why don't we go over there and see that? And then we're going to play that part of the show in a little bit. So if you see our show this year, there's a big section at the end of the opener that we hear Britney Spears. This is that section.
Think about the notes that you would be playing when you would be doing this.
I want you guys to mark time during this, but I want you to mark time with the intensity of your lower body while keeping your upper body relaxed, okay? So often in the past couple days we talked about how the visual responsibility is sometimes the duality with the playing responsibility, like when we're meandering in we're doing a lot of work with our feet. We need to not be doing so much work up here. So let's work with our feet and let's try and keep everything up top nice and easy.
Hey, horn line, let's start with the horns up for this breathing segment, alright? Alright.
Yeah. just did? O-tap the first time, and then Aaron fingers. Remember how good our O-tap has been lately. Let's try and keep it as open and relaxed as possible, right? This is everything that's happening with your wind before it gets to your chops, basically. Let's try O-tap first, then Aaron fingers. Bring the hit with the mellow entrance to the end. Basic. We don't have time to get it. Set!
Okay, get your heads over. I want you guys, I was just thinking, like, when you guys do the second half of the burning thing and you start to contort your bodies, doesn't that tie right in with, like, the whole 5-15-5 thing? Right? How getting yourself. I thought that was an excellent job of O-tap.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony's totally right. So when we're doing our stretching during 5-15-5, that's an amazing opportunity for us to try and drop that tension, even though we're doing something kind of funky. Cool. When you're ready, let's bring it back up. We're going to do it Aaron fingers. Let's take this giant thing, this rough object that we just created, and let's sculpt it into something musical.
Firm articulations, trumpet, so you can carry over the front ensemble, right?
Set. Come on, Mellows. Project from the back of the field.
Yeah.
Relax. Heads over. That's awesome. It's so cool to hear how from O-tap to Aaron fingers we go from something that's inherently non-musical and then create something that is much more musical. You know, that's a really great job.
Yeah, while our heads are down, guys, psychologically, even if you don't have the best rep going into the end of that horns down can really change people's minds. Okay, so if you don't have a great rep and all of a sudden you do a lazy horns down too, you're gonna really make, yeah, I did hear that error. Okay, but if we have a great horns down, it'd be like maybe I didn't hear anything. Okay, and that time I thought we had a really good sense of how the horns move together, and we're getting better at that. But we need to keep going. The tune doesn't end when the music stops. Okay, it keeps going. We got to always make sure that that thought and that intensity keeps going throughout. We're going to take two on our own. We're going to take 2 minutes on our own. Then number 2 with BWS is going to be next. Go for it. like 7 and 1, right? Okay, let's get a nice big fluid airstream going. Number 2 at forte. Number 2 at forte.
Stand by. Set.
Nice job, Blue Devils. Shake it out. Remember, don't make me drag you along on the crescendo. Once that second hand signal comes up, you are crescendoing until the end of the exercise. Cuddle up, pump, is that right?
Yep.
So why don't you guys get a little bit of double tonguing going on, cuddle up, help will be next. Remember what Tony was talking about yesterday? We want to make sure that in order for that dip to not get too soft, we have to have that crescendo right before it. Okay, the forte is always the bottom level of the dynamic. We got to get up to that fortissimo, back down. So cuddle up, help will be next. Let's see if we can do this one time, guys.
Stand by. Set.
No dynamics, first 3 keys. Open up, project.
Right out of the gate, guys, the notes felt too long. Right away, that first note, that's going to tell us when that's going for. Okay, if we're a little bit long, a little bit kind of tubby with it, it's not going to have that direction. That's it. We want to have the momentum. Here we go. Tub. The tongue's light. Lots of it. Relax your shoulders. Boom. I don't know what John told you, but remember that. So guys, he has no idea what we talked about, but there was a significant difference. Okay, we gotta bring that every time. Guys, get water, stretch out the lower backs.
Not good with words. Easy words. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hey, thank you for joining us, everybody. I think we're going to do this a few more times throughout the season. It's always awesome to have people inside the circle. I always invite our fans to come in, so if you're at a warm-up, come on over. At some point, I will invite you into the circle. And thank you guys for stopping by. Go Blue Devils.